I'm sorry to hear that you're in isolation.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Thinking about your new life and the way you left me
And
dreams.
it is what it is. It's okay. I feel like
COVID's
everybody had like
COVID's treating you, all you artists, like with little respect, man.
respect. I know. Where's the respect? But what can you do? I'm hoping that this year's a little bit better than last year, but
Mm,
it's not looking great. But oh well.
mm. I'd like to
So
touch on COVID actually. I've got some questions written down. So, first of all, first question before we kick it off, do you want to be referred to as Georgia or George Alice in the
um,
interview?
I think George Alice is fine. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
beautiful.
Okay. Um, all right. And do you know anything about the podcast? Did Rhiannon share anything?
A little bit. I saw it's a female and LGBTQ plus community podcast, touches on issues that make um artists who they are and situations like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's awesome. It's really cool. I also saw you did an interview with, I can't remember their name, but I watched a bit of an interview this morning and it was really cool, really interesting. But I love podcasts, so I'm all about this.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good because yeah, I just like to say, what we're about before I launch into a bunch of
Yeah.
questions. Not that anything's going to be grueling, but just like to
That's okay. Hit me with it.
say. All right. So here we are on Her Story once more, and today we're joined with George Alice. Hi, George Alice. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So, it hasn't been all that much time you've had in the spotlight. It might seem forever for you, but we can chat about that. Um, so to backtrack to probably, you can let me know how it was working, but to backtrack a little, you won Unearthed High in 2019. So that's Triple J Unearthed High. I should have pronounced that properly, with your song Circles.
Yeah,
And that's now gone gold.
yeah,
That's such a
crazy.
massive achievement.
Oh, it's insane.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then you followed that up with two singles in 2020. So they were Stuck in a Bubble and Teenager. And then last year you worked with Alex Leahy and as well as Japanese Wallpaper um, for your single mid years. So yeah, we've heard a bit of you. So how are you feeling about sort of where you're up to now?
I feel like it's been a pretty steady progress, and I think that that's what I wanted to showcase the most. Coming from my first ever song that I had written and had put out and done my first ever writing session, making Circles, and the first, I guess, project that I embarked on was Circles, and the reaction that I had was, I guess, nothing of the normal kind. And I don't think that it happens very often what happened to that song, and I think it was very, very lucky experience, and super grateful for it. But at the same time, I think that it allowed me to have this incredible like landing platform for the next singles that came from that. And I think that people watched me grow up from being 15, 16 to now 18, and I think that the songs reflect that perfectly, and as well as the visions that come along with and all the visuals that come along with the song. I think that
Mm.
yeah, they all kind of just showed me growing up, and I think that that was all I ever really wanted.
Yeah, you that's a good point that you have grown up through
Yeah,
your music. Like it's been your teenage years that you're sort of capturing. Um,
yeah,
how does it feel to just be 18 and where you are now on, like, you've played stadiums, you're on festival lineups?
Yeah, I know. It's really weird, and I giggle when you say that because it doesn't feel like you're talking about anything that I've done. But I totally did do that, and it's really weird to even think about it because, I think I always say at festivals as well, I'm always like, I should be in the crowd with you guys because I'm 18. That's what 18-year-olds do. But here we are. Someone let me in here, and here we are. I'm going to sing for you now. So, I think that I can see both sides of it, and I can see like it is so amazing to be able to do what I do, and at the age that I'm doing it, it's every kid's dream, and especially as I've grown up and all of my friends being into Triple J and all the festivals and Groove in the Moo and all the festivals that come along with being the spotlight of Triple J, and getting to experience that from literally 16 years old has been pretty wild. But yeah, it's awesome. I think that I'm literally living the dream, and my friends are really supportive, and yeah, I guess it's just one big adventure of fun, and doesn't really feel like working because everything that I do I love, and yeah, it's just so much fun.
Oh, that's so nice. And as you say, your friends are supportive, and you're growing up. Is that adventure that you're on? Is that encapsulated in your lyrics and what you hope to do with your music?
Yeah, I think so. I think starting at Circles and then moving into Stuck in a Bubble, and just even everything from literally just the way that I look in all my videos. I've physically grown up as well as I have like matured, and my attitude towards things has changed, and the kind of music that I want to make, I feel like it's always stayed in the same lane, which is it's a pretty strong thing. And I think that the visuals that came alongside Mid Years, for example, are a little bit darker and gloomier, more about the nightlife rather than like fun in the sun. And I think that that showed the maturity of me turning 18 and realizing that like I love to have fun with my friends, and like go out with my friends and just be 18. And I think there's a lot of beauty in being 18 that people always look over, and I think I expressed that a lot in Teenager. Just being young is something to be celebrated, and it's just really not. So yeah, I guess that's kind of just what I'm doing with all of that now, and I think that my songs have been just progressing and kind of stamping that as I go along.
Mm. Great. I think it's really amazing when young people make music. I'm a lot older than you, but I think it's just nice to have that young voice. You like, if you can, I don't know, as an artist, but maybe you can imagine somebody else sitting on the same couch feeling the same way you are, and
Yeah.
you're sort of giving an anthem to young people
Yeah, I think that's
and
really
saying
special.
it's okay to feel this way. This is
Yeah,
this is life.
I think it's great, and I feel like there's not a lot of people that, I guess, sometimes they write about things that a lot of people have experienced but not so much everybody has experienced. And I think that I try to hit that angle of anyone at any age can listen to this and relate to it and turn it into their own story, listen to it how they want to listen to it. But also it's like I've always been about an anthem for the kids, because I feel like there's not a whole heap of outlets for people to do that, and I don't think there's many kids taking a chance on like I was told as well, there's never, like, playing music is not a real job, and all of that stuff. And I think that just those little things, I think that it's really important to like be teaching the next generations that that's not necessarily the case. And even just by listening to my music, I think that they're supporting a really positive story, and I hope that that somehow sinks in.
Oh, I think it has, given the success of Circles, and
Yes, sure.
and you're doing pretty well. Like, Jesus had a big what's the best word? You'd know. It's had a good like, the reaction and the message that it takes seems to resonate. That's the word I was
Yeah,
looking for.
yeah, it seems to be going well. I'm really happy with it. I think it was a great next step for me as an artist.
Okay, so working with Alex and Gab, Japanese wallpaper, how is that? Did you go
I
down to Melbourne They're both based in
No, it
Melbourne.
was actually on Zoom because I think it was like in the
Mm.
peak of Corona. And I'm from Adelaide, like I live in Adelaide, so it's been pretty relaxed here. But I know that obviously Melbourne was crazy for a while. So
Yeah.
we did it on Zoom and I was in Adelaide. They were in Melbourne. Yeah, it was really different. I think it was my first ever Zoom session, and I'm not really about Zoom sessions just because I'm a big people person and I love being in the room with people. But tried it out because I love Gab and I love Alex and thought it would be fun. And
Mm.
yeah, we wrote this amazing anthem that I just really, really loved, and I felt like it was just such a reflection of how far my writings come and my melodies have come, and just as an artist, like really deep as an artist, like it reflected everything that I've learned since Circles and since the very beginning. And yeah, I just think it was a whole lot of fun. It was a great day sitting, even though you were sitting at a computer, it felt like we were all in the room and all hanging out together. And yeah, and now they're great friends.
That's fantastic. I can't believe sitting at Zoom making a song is,
Yeah,
possible. And and it ends up being like you say, it's a success and it all worked out for the best. I hope you've met Alex. You've met
yeah,
Gabe probably because he produced Teenager, didn't he?
yeah. He produced Teenager, and also like a bunch of other music that I'm sitting on, and he also works on my live show, which is great because it's all one big happy family.
Oh, I'm so. How else has COVID impacted on? Because you're sort of. Well, the reason I asked you. You sort of came out in 2019. You won Unearthed High, and then it was sort of building, and then COVID came along.
Yeah, I think I try not to think about like what could have been, because obviously it's never going to be, and maybe one
Mm.
day it may be. But it was pretty devastating going from like we were just getting started, like we really were just getting started. I had maybe played 5 shows and they were all festivals, the biggest shows that I've still ever played in my career. Like they were just incredible, so much fun, like full of just the people even just around me were the best people ever. And it felt like we really were at the peak of life, and I was like, this is amazing, this is the coolest thing ever. And then COVID hit and it was like all of a sudden completely taken away. I was by myself in Adelaide, had my 17th birthday in lockdown. It was all very sudden, and I think obviously it was for everybody, and everybody's in the exact same boat. So it was that was really comforting, and knowing that everyone can just jump on a FaceTime or jump on a Zoom, and everyone's in the same boat. But yeah, I mean, obviously it sucked, but now looking back, I'm like, it's probably a good thing. Probably needed a bit of a rest. I hit things pretty hard right after Unearthed High. I just didn't stop for like 6 months, and yeah, I think now I've had time to grow up, and which I needed to do. Obviously, as a 16-year-old, everything's changing, and you need a moment just to sit and let my head stop spinning. And yeah, I mean, obviously shows have been moved and things are getting cancelled and all the rest of it. But I think that yeah, in the end, it was good for me as an artist, like writing and learning more about the music I want to make and the direction I want to go, and more about my team and everything else. So I think yeah, it had its pros and cons, as everything does, but it's kind of comforting knowing that everybody's in the same boat, as much as it sucks. But what can you do?
And I think that's the right attitude. It is what it is. Yeah, well, I'm glad that it didn't have like that's your attitude, because it was a pretty crappy time for the industry there.
Yeah, it
But
really just sucks. But like I say, it is what it is. I think things are looking up, and we adapted so
yeah,
quickly. As artists and people in the industry and musicians and literally anybody in the music industry, I think we are such adaptive people, and you have to be able to do your job well. And I think even just from like before, when you would go to a show and there'd be a different crew or something would go wrong, you'd have to like think really quick and think, how do you fix this? Who do I call to fix this? Who can come and help? How do I do this myself? And like all these questions run. So it's like kind of just the same thing, but like all the time. So we're kind of already trained to do it. I'm like, we got this. It's okay.
it's a good way to think about it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so what else? I can't understand my writing, Georgia. um, so you said, I might just make it up. So you said you've worked with Gab a lot before, and you also worked with Alex for mid-years. So what other artists have you worked with, and how has that sort of changed your direction as well?
What other artists have I worked with? I actually did a writing session. I think it was just for a bit of fun with Towns. And the drummer that plays in my band is the drummer from Towns. And yeah, and I love those people lots. Love them heaps. And I thought this will be so fun if we just have a writing session together, because we always do the live aspect together and we never get to see each other in, like, work mode. And with Alex and Gab as well. So we all jumped on a Zoom call and did this writing session, which was really fun. We made them like a Britpop song. I don't know if it'll ever get used, but it was just a bit of fun. Maybe one day. But it was fun. And I've also worked with Boy Soda from Sydney, and he is amazing. He taught me so much about melodies and, like, just adding like a bit of swagger to what I do, which I feel like I really wanted to do, because I was like, oh, I'm just not cool enough. But he made me really cool, which is awesome. But yeah, and then Stuck in a Bubble was written with Remy Wolf and Nasaya, which was a dream, really, because I'm a massive fan of Remy Wolf. And yeah, so there's been a lot of artists that I've been working with, and, especially on Zoom and all other things, and that I've met along the way. And yeah, everyone's awesome.
Oh, that's great. I guess they sort of see someone younger who's they can give a helping hand to, I hope, as well, along the way, along the next few years as well.
Yeah.
And who are your influences back in 2019 compared to now? As you said, you've been growing along the way.
I feel like now it's more like SZA and like Remy, and I don't know, people with like a bit more soul to them. I still love Adele. Who else? King Princess, love them. Just love like real good pop music, like Charlie XCX. I feel like I love stuff with a little bit more edge to it now, whereas before in 2019 I was very like clean pop, or very left field. There was no in between. Whereas now it's like Charlie XCX and people with a bit more edge, a bit more fun, which is what I'm trying to kind of lean into. And I think that naturally it's happening, which I'm glad that I let it happen naturally rather than setting out to make a Charlie XCX record or something. And but yeah, they're awesome people, and I think that their music has helped me heaps. And in 2019 it was Circles was actually inspired by TK Meister's White Rose and Rain Girl by Yeji. I loved the production on both those tracks, and kind of like the soulfulness of the drums, and it was almost like a house track, but like I could make it something that was pop at the same time. And yeah, I guess it kind of all came together. But I'd say my references always sway no matter where I am or what I'm doing.
Great. Well, thank you. And it's a fresh year. So do you have any New Year's resolutions, or like are we going to get an EP, an album?
Yes, I do have some things that I'm sitting on, that I've been sitting on for a very, very long time. And I think, again, was waiting for the time is right. I think the time's right. I think this year will be the year that I put it all out and I start really, putting out exactly what I've been kind of aiming towards. And I have been holding back for the last few years, just purely based on, self-growth as well as coronavirus. And I guess, I don't really know about New Year's resolutions. I feel like at the end of 2021, I thought that we would not be able to do anything, and just didn't really hold much hope for the rest of the year, and just thought, oh, it'll be like pretty chill, just like hang out with my friends in Adelaide and just like go to the beach or something. And then, we played the MCG, and then we played New Year's in the park and did all these crazy things all at once. And yeah, it was just that was kind of probably what would have been my New Year's resolutions for 2022 would have been everything that I managed to cram into the 1 month end of last year. So yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think of some more because somehow they all fell in my lap and I was lucky enough to do them. So I'll got to think of another list.
It didn't just fall in your lap. George Alice, you know. Got to get that swagger on.
Yeah, I do need the swagger. Turn up the swagger. What do I say?
We'll have to get a swagger chart.
You need one.
Yeah.
Swagger check.
Yeah. And do you have like those jeggings? Do you have jeggings?
Jeggings. No.
They're
I don't
like
have jeggings.
they're like
Maybe.
plastic jeans that are really tight.
No, I'm a full baggy jeans gal, but I reckon I used to have jeggings when I was like maybe 10. I had jeggings and I thought I was the coolest chick on the block with my jeggings on. I really felt the swagger then. Maybe I should bring them back.
Maybe you can find your own jegging. You'll find the
I'll find
George Alice version of jegging that can help the swagger a meter
Yeah, I'll
below.
find it and I'll let you know.
It could be the baggy jeans. You seem very like they seem to work for you. So
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't need to be like those 9-inch heel type boots for you.
No, I'll find my equivalent. I think my equivalent would be a good old high top of some kind, a good old, trainer. Yeah, I think I think I'm finding it slowly but surely. I'm finding my swagger. Don't you worry.
Good. If not, we'll invest in some swagger training. I'll put in. But I know you'll bring it. I know you will. Manage to get this far and you're only 18.
Yeah. We've somehow done it. We've done it.
All right. So I guess, is there anything else that COVID has done to help? I guess you've had the chance to work with people, grow up. Has it helped with setting yourself up on a label or getting yourself all sorted out that way?
Yeah, I think it actually helped with so much. And I think that it let me have a lot of peace and quiet that I definitely needed to be able to think properly and, not be wowed by the shiny factors of silly things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a global deal with Loma Vista Concord Records in the States at the end of 2020. So I've been working with them for like a year and they are the best. They're really good at what they do. And yeah, just kind of like did all of that stuff and figured out my team and really like focused on who I'm working with and especially things like booking agents. Now I'm working with Select here in Australia and Paradigm in the States and also Paradigm for the rest of the world. So I think that it's been really good to be able to really focus on who's here for me and who can do the best for me as well as who's actually interested in what I'm doing. And found him, which is pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, I mean, COVID's been good to do exactly that, just to make decisions.
Fantastic. It's sad that we've had to go through it, but as you say, it is what it is. Well, given I can't understand my writing, that's all the questions I have, except for one last essential question. So this one comes without any prep or letting you know that this is happening. What song would you like to request on Her Story? You just get one song.
One song. Okay. What song? I reckon. I reckon maybe.
That was the timer.
Ding done. I think this. I've only just really discovered it, and it's really cool. And I think it's called Smash Mouth by 1300. But does it need to be female artists?
No. It's
Okay,
a
yeah,
song request from George Ellis.
yeah, I think Smash Mouth by 1300. They're a really cool, like, rap group, I guess I'm gonna call them. I don't know, just come across them, and they're pretty cool. So it's a good little up and dance song.
Fantastic. Thank you. And well, finally, one last question. What do you have, like, what can we plug? Tell us what you got going on, girl.
I have a new song coming out Thursday night, which will be really cool. It's called Hold On. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. I mean, we've been sitting on this song. This song was written the same day of Circles. And so it's from many, many years ago. And it was a great, successful day. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this song to come out. I think it's, another step into the next phase of what I'm doing and the first step of a lot to come. And, yeah, super stoked about it.
Fantastic. Great. So we'll be able to hear it. You're going to do a premiere, or does it just go up on the streams?
There's going to be a premiere. I think it's still being confirmed, but I think it's Thursday night. But I think everything's still being confirmed, etc. Okay. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's coming out Thursday night. I'm gonna post about it on my socials and tell everyone all the stuff.
Oh, look out! We'll share it on the Slice Radio socials, because that's where her story lives, on Slice Radio. And yes, so and then you hit the road.
Yes, we are kicking off, I think the 21st in Brisbane, Black Bear Lodge, which will be really fun. And it's the first show of the George Ellis tour, which is crazy because I've only ever done one headline tour before. And that was all seated in 2020 for like peak of the pandemic. So this will be fun. It'll be good to meet people, do things, play the new set, and yeah, a lot of new music, hopefully.
Okay, great. So we've got Brisbane. Where else are you visiting?
Going everywhere. I think Brisbane, Adelaide, Sydney, and Melbourne. Okay. Could not remember all the venues off the top of my head, but totally fun ones. And yeah, it's gonna be super fun. I think that they're really cute, intimate venues that I've probably seen people play in, and yeah, it's really cool that I get to go do it now because I love playing small venues and intimate venues with like the best support acts ever. We have literally the best support acts in the world joining us on the tour, and yeah, I think it's just gonna be one big party. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Awesome. What is it about the small venues that you like so much?
Well, I think because obviously I've only ever done one headline tour, it's obviously like statistically where I am as an artist. And I also think that, I started out playing these big festivals and, doing these massive support slots and all the rest of it, which are incredible and so much fun to do. But I also love, there's so much beauty in like playing to, those 100 people that are really there, like listening to you, and they want to know like all your new songs and, how you wrote them and all the rest of it. And it's like really intimate, and it's just so much fun to be able to meet people that way. And I always try to meet everyone as well that comes to the shows, and, we'll chat and we'll all hang out. So it's like a big birthday party really, and everyone's invited.
Great. Well, where can we find the details about these gigs? Is it on your website, on your socials?
Yeah, it's on both my socials and my website, and it'll be blasted everywhere.
All right. So where shall we head? Where do we find you? What's your best channels?
Just George Ellis across the board on everything. Okay. George Ellis on Instagram. Yeah, George Ellis across the board on everything.
Fantastic. All right. And there's also a little hint, or spoiler alert to everybody, there's a few little nibs of songs on Insta. You let us into the mind with a few little tunes, and well, I at least appreciate. Yeah, so well, thank you for your time, George.
Thank you.
Alice. Yeah, I really appreciate it, and we wish you all the best for
Thank you so much.
your
Thank you for having me.
career. I'll find out where you're playing in Sydney and come track you down.
Really, come hang out.
I will. Awesome. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. And have a great evening.
Ground is keeping me guessing. I'm stressing.